Hey everybody, this is Carl back again for another Christmas movie review, and I will be reviewing the Netflix movie Klaus. And before we continue, please leave a like, hit that notification bell, follow me in the links in the description where I cover reviews of movies, TV shows, comic books, as well as stream a bunch of video games. I'm still going over God of War Ragnarok, by the way. Anyway, I just posted my comic book review of Klaus, How Santa Claus Began, written by Grant Morrison of Boom Comics. So you can check that out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkativecarl. Now I'm covering the Netflix movie that came out in 2019, I think in November, Klaus, starring Jason Schwartzman as Jesper Johnson, J.K. Simmons as Klaus, Rosita Jones as Alva, the fishmonger / teacher, Joan Cusack as Mrs. Tammy Crumb, Will Sasso as Mr. Exel Ellenbow, and Norm MacDonald as Muggins, the late Norman MacDonald. This is set around like the 19th century, and Jesper is this spoiled, I won't say rich, but because his father is the postmaster, like a famed postmaster general, and has this kind of like you know, I don't want to say fleet, but it's kind of like a very well established business of delivering mail, and he's pretty much like number one, as it seems. But his son isn't taking the job seriously. He kind of rests on his laurels, and the fact that his father is this prominent figure, he doesn't really feel like he needs to put in any kind of effort, or doesn't have any ambition outside of just living a very lavish means. Of course, his father ain't having any of that. He decides, okay, I'll send you off to Smeatensburg, Smearensburg, Smear, just got it, Smearensburg, and is tasked to deliver 6,000 letters within 1 year. If he fails to do that, he's permanently cut off from the family fortune. So he has no choice but to sit there and go all the way to Smearensburg by boat ride through the means of Muggins, who controls like the coast with the like the travel by boat through the coast. And he arrives and comes to find out in shock that the primarily people living in this area, it comprises of two warring families, the Crumbs and the Ellenbow. It's one of those kind of like family feuds. It's like Hatfield and Troy. Hatfield, it's like it's family feuds. There's like a famous one that people like to attribute. Is one of those like kind of like there's a story with like these hillbilly families, the Hatfield and McCoys. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure I got that right. And they kind of like, I mean, in most cases, feuds like that go on so long, nobody even remembers how it even got started. Then again, I don't even know they even explained here, but it's displayed along in the middle of the movie that this family been going at each other since the time of caveman times. So yeah, it's just always been that way. They probably don't even care even how it got started. It's just that it's all they know. Jesper meets with the teacher, or she's supposed to be the teacher, but uh, uh, Alva, she initially went to Smearsburg uh, to teach, but because neither one of these families want their children intermingling with the opposition, uh, it makes her job kind of pointless. So she just turns into a fishmonger just to make ends meet, so she can save up, so she can just get out of this entire town. Because there's no point in being like a teacher in a place where she's not valued. So she became a little bit of bitter because of that. Uh, so Jesper's been struggling, just trying to get these people to mail something, and there's no point mailing anything because they one side keep to the other side, and vice versa. And if they want to, as Muggins put it, if one side wants to say anything to the other side, there's only one way they'll get that across, and it's violently. So there's no point in having like any postman. And if you want to send something to their own families, they can just go over there and talk with them. There's no point in sending stuff. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's got to be people outside of the island, on the other side of the pond that you want to send stuff to, I imagine, or you want to get something from across the island to you. You still need a postman. So that part, like, I was a little bit buggy on. I was like, okay, y'all may not want to do anything with the other people on this island, but you got to have other people outside the island, or you want something outside the island, like, if it's wine or toys or a book or something, you got to have access to something outside the island. So it is no reason for Jasper to be struggling right now for deliveries. Anyway, Jasper sees this letter outside the gate of his home, where this little kid, let it fly out the window. He asks for the postman to give it back, but Jasper desperately trying to reach the 6,000 marker so he can have a reason to leave without losing his inheritance. So he's trying to bribe the kid into, like, getting like a stamp, buying a stamp so he can apply it, so he can officially have a mailing. But then his father shows up, and forces him off his property. Along the way, he goes to this recluse's house, and because J.K. Simmons plays like Santa Claus, I think that's like a perfect casting. So he finds out about this recluse's house, that, okay, I gotta start somewhere. Let's find this guy if he wants to mail anything. And then it gets very Friday the 13th at this part, because it's very, very creepy, because he bumps into Klaus, who's this big imposing figure. He doesn't say anything at all. Jasper runs away in terror, leaves behind the kid's letter, and there's a mysterious little wind that Klaus tends to acknowledge and listen to. And he comes to the conclusion, like, okay, he goes all the way back to the village, confronts Jasper, and asks, like, where's his address. And him and Jasper goes to this kid's house. He hands Jasper the letter and a toy from his house, and sends him through the gate with all these, like, bear traps and guard dogs and stuff like that. It's like, having Jasper sneak in to deliver back the letter and this toy, and 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 sneak back out. But this allows Klaus to see like the joy in the kid's face when he sees his toy, which then in turns uh, allow this kid to be playing outside, and there's this hole in a fence of this guy's house where the little boy sees this Ellenbow girl, and because little kids they tend to learn from wherever crap their elders, who more often than not are probably like very like hard of heart, and try to impose whatever warped view onto these innocent kids. So they don't have any kind of bitterness towards anybody. For all intents and purposes, they're just innocent, and they just see people as people. So this boy sees a little girl, and the girl sees this boy playing with his toy, and they start playing together, which drives the father upset. Takes the girl over to the mother's house and let her know what's going on. She flips out, and they go to their clan members, the heads of the clans, and they chastise the children and find out that the boy got this toy from the Santa, or at least like the woodsman and the postman. And so and the kids start spreading word around each other, saying like, the postman can help get, we want toys too. Can you get like the guy to give us toys too? And so he said like, oh well, yeah, certainly. I got the hookup. He treats it like he got like drug connections or something. Like, yeah, I got the connection to Santa. Like, you got a letter from me, and I attribute this to like a little bit on the play on the Breaking and Bass, with the Santa Claus is Coming to Town movie, where the beginning of the movie is like, kids are asking like, how did Santa Claus get his red suit, and like, where did he get the reindeer, and blah blah blah, and like this postman, you remember the song like, put one foot in front of the other. I kind of think they kind of applied that. That's where they got this character Jasper from that mailman, to like, okay, this guy got a kinship with Santa Claus. So, but this time it's kind of like a play on that, but a little bit more comedic and modern-ish. And and then it's because of him, he starts feeding these kids the stories of Santa Claus. Like, there's a naughty ass kid who kept throwing snowballs at him throughout this entire time he'd been here, and it's like, Santa Claus knows when you've been naughty or nice. And he wants the letters, so he wants to be, he wants y'all to be good little boys and girls, and so all these little tales interwoven into the history of Santa Claus, he sparked that. So now he's became like a big shot. Now he's got all these letters coming from these kids, but most kids don't know how to read and write. So Jasper comes to Alva and convinces her to open up her classroom again to teach these children how to read and write, so that way they can start writing their letters to Santa. And I kind of like this because this is a part where it's like I really, really enjoy, because the themes to this, where you learn that if you do good things, that cause like a pretty much like a domino effect of other good things. One good thing leads to another good thing, leads to another good thing. these kids starting to like go around and start doing good things in the neighborhood, helping that guy patch up the. Well, he was trying to patch up the hole in his fence to keep it, the other family on their side. He ended up falling, hurting his leg. All the neighborhood kids from both sides of the family uh, starts to take care of him, feed him soup and stuff like that. And you know, one lady who normally picks spend her day picking the berries from her garden, the kids do it for her, and they bring it to a pile, so she didn't have to do all that grueling work. And so notice that most of the kids are from the other family, so she brings uh, some fresh berries over to her. It doesn't say anything. She's just like, here, your kids did this for me. Here's some for you, and to the shock to the other woman, and so she turned those berries into jam, and she bring a couple of jars over to her, and thanks for the berries, and so like one good deed comes enough good thing. I really really like that. That's so cool. And it's like this is a good thing to show children. It's like to teach them about like just doing good things, not to expect anything back. At least not 100% of the time, but just doing it because it's a good thing and it's good for the other person. And so the Alva gets a turn because her heart has been like kind of like hardened a bit, but it became softened when these kids, when they start to that look on their faces. Because I imagine this is what it's like for a lot of teachers, the look on the kids' faces when they get the pleasure of learning something and thought it's like, oh my God, this is really cool. And like we all been to that point. I mean, not everybody enjoy school and not everybody enjoy homework, but that initial moment of learning something new, it's like a hell of a thing. And when it was like a little girl who for the first time learned how to write her own name, and it's like, oh my God, like that's my name, and all the kids start jumping up. I want to learn how to write my name too, and like you see the Alva just get like a turn like, and then starts to change, and put back all the school stuff together. She even had to dip into most of her stored away funds in order to get supplies and like helping out these kids. So things are starting to really like make a turn for the better, and like Klaus is bonding with Jasper, making toys, corralling reindeer so they can help pull the sleigh that carries all these buttloads of toys, because they have to increase in size when more and more kids starting to put in requests. But then like the clan leaders start getting wind of what's going on, and they're not feeling that. They want the rivalry. That's all they know. And so they find out about Jasper's little end goal. And they call in a small temporary truce in order to because they put in more letters to take Jasper over the top of his goal, to the point of 14,000 letters that he done. So and it's never established how long he's been here. Let's say it's been like maybe 2 months max. And then they start calling his father over, or at least reaching out to his father to come over once he they let him know about like the great job Jasper is doing with the postal service and everything like that. Oh, by the way, there's one of my favorite characters here, and it's one little girl who's a Simi, uh, who I thought was just like French or something, because the little girl kind of speaks in a way. If you ever watch a Tom and Jerry cartoon, you know that that little French mouse that's pals with Jerry. That's what it kind of reminds me. That little girl reminds me of the way, like, I kind of expect her to say, like, "Bonjour, Monsieur Pussycat," and she just speaks in like a it almost seems like French, but I think it's like in a Norwegian uh uh landscape. But Sami is pretty much like Finno-Ugric speaking people. Uh, 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 it encompasses like Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Murmansk Oblast, Russia, most of Kola Peninsula. So it's like, a decent range of areas. Um, the livelihoods they traditionally have been that's pursued there is like fishing, fur trapping, sheep herding. Their best known means of livelihood is nomadics reindeer herding. 10% of the Sami were connected to reindeer herding, which provided them with meat, fur, and transportation. So I thought it was a nice little touch, and something you like I said, you learn something, you get this little like not epiphany, but it's like this blissful wave over you. It's like, oh my god, it's like this awesome feeling of just new knowledge, because like it's a fun thing to find out about something that you never heard of before. That kind of like the partition in Miss Marvel. It's like so many people love that episode because we learned something that we never been taught. You expect a lot of people to be taught in middle school, or if not high school, about some parts of history that has nothing to do with well, I want to say just America, but just like the historical cultures of the Norwegian people, or any atrocity with like the a Persian history or things like that. Like you can't learn everything, and it's up to the individual to like look into it. But sometimes like the American educational system really did a number on kids. I think they started to make a turn with that, but man, it's just like it's kind of crappy on their end. But anyway, I love the interaction between Jesper, because he doesn't understand what she's saying, and she just there and just listen, and he eventually like with the help of Alva started learning from this little girl that he just confides into, because he feels like, well, there's no way she can tell anybody, because nobody probably will understand her anyway. So she eventually, once he learned what she's saying, she explains how she wants a sled for Christmas. And I just love this little girl. She's so adorable. I just love the dialect. You may not understand her, but it's just the sentiment behind it. It just makes it that much better. I really love this character. Honestly, my favorite one out of the entire film. I just want to hear her just speak. It doesn't even matter if I understand it. But then the jig is up when the father shows up, and everybody thinking like Jasper just wasn't doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He was just doing this because he just needed to meet a quota. But the father understands that Jasper made a life here and made friends here, and so Jasper stayed behind, and then starts to help Klaus and the others keep the rival families from what's left of the rival families that still wants to feud from destroying the toys. But despite their efforts, the toys are destroyed. But Jasper points out that it's not the end of completely everything, because the clan leaders' children bonded because one child saved the other from falling over the cliff. And like one good act, tends to, do wonders in the grand scheme of things. Sometimes you don't know how it pans out in good fortune for you. It's just good karma, essentially. You should, like I said, you shouldn't expect anything, because you're doing the good thing. That's all that matters. You did a good thing, and and the universe will know that. And maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, good stuff starts to envelop and pan out for you. And this leads to a marriage which forces the families to just finally end the feud once and for all. But Jasper is disappointed because he thought like we lost the toys and the kid's gonna be disappointed. But Alva and Klaus point out that this was decoys. They're all just books and manuals, stuff that's not gonna be like a complete loss. And they point out like the kids talk. They eventually end up telling me about their plan. So we set up a decoy, and we got the real toys. And so thanks to Margu, the Sami girl, who got her village to come in to help with kind of like elves helps in getting all these toys together for Santa's ride. And Alva and Jasper start bonding, which kind of felt quick because there was no it seemed like they're like at the grew to be friends. But this kind of seems like this whole she gives him one kiss at some point in the film during a montage when things are going very swimmingly, and it seems like not out of nowhere, but it's like we missed some steps, because this should be at least an initial point where she's starting to like really kind of he does something that kind of warms her heart. I guess that's the whole Margot thing, where she's starting like seeing him like warm up to this kid and everything like that. But I don't know, it seems kind of fast to me. But they start becoming a thing. They start a family, and years go by as they expand to deliver more toys. But Klaus gotten to the point where it's been 12 years at this point with them doing this, and Klaus, as he's chopping wood, hear this voice where it's established that him and his wife moved here to Smearsburg a long time ago. They wanted to have children. That's why he made so many toys, because he wanted to make sure his children have something to play with. But the mother couldn't conceive. I mean, the wife couldn't conceive. Eventually, she got ill. She passed away, and he's just been alone ever since. But it kind of feels like, I guess, her spirit was along the wind that he ends up calling out to. But at this point, he hears that wind again, and he feels like, well, I guess it's time then. So he went up to the hill, and then he eventually just disappeared, kind of signifying that he might just had passed away. but there was no body. He just kind of like just disappeared altogether. And Jasper, a little older, couldn't find his friend, and nobody else seen him around. He even went to Margot, who is a young woman now, and nobody have seen him. So now, him and Alva with their two children, uh, putting under bed, and he just sits by the fire with a plate of cookies, looking at a Christmas tree, and just hears his jingle bells in the air. And he been narrating throughout this whole time how like he just, I just, every night on Christmas Eve, I wait for my friend. And that's where like the movie ends. And I really enjoyed this film. I really do. Almost the animation style I really love is almost like a storybook in a way. Like a storybook come to life, like something I read as a child, and I really love it. And it's almost at the same time like almost wood carvings is the way like some of these characters are drawn. Almost like Pinocchio come to life, but minus like the wood skin is kind of like just like very smooth wood that's like animated and painted. But it's hard to describe, but this is the only way my mind can like verbalize it. But like I said, I dig the animation, but like Margot is probably like my favorite character. I like all these other characters as well. Even like Norman Donald, always hilarious. I love his little. It's kind of like one of those kind of 70s TV shows like Three's Company where you got Don Knotts is. I know. I seen if you ever watched Nick at Night, you know what I'm talking about. Because I didn't grow up in the 70s. I'm not old. I grew up in the 90s and I watched Nick at Night, and that's how I knew of certain shows like that. And so about certain TV shows where they got these kind of like quirky neighbor they come popping in to offer some comedic effect. That's what Norman Donald's character is like. So I like him as well. But it's on Netflix right now. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch. But if you have seen it, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought, which characters you liked and which ones you did not like. And tomorrow I'll be out to go see the Violet Night David Harbour movie. And Saturday I will do my spoiler review on that. But so look forward to that. And I'll be doing some reaction videos in a few minutes because tomorrow, since I'm gonna be out to go see the movie, I'm gonna be home a little bit late, so I probably won't have time to really do like typical reactions. So I'm gonna do a few now, and by next Thursday I'll be back to the reaction day. Yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Please have a great night. But definitely check out my videos. Let me know what you guys think. And also later on, I will be doing some more video game walkthroughs of Evil West, some Overwatch 2. I'll try to get in a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. No promises, but I'm trying because it's been a minute and I need to put in some time for that.